kind of ambiance do you prefer when you're working? Of course, my music can't directly alleviate the busy state you're in, but I'd feel terrible if it couldn't make you more comfortable. Or content. This next concert is for Amiya. I really am curious. What would she see in me if I were allowed to touch her emotions? Oh, that look on your face. Are you worried? Then why not come along and confine me to your side? Music is the order you dig out of chaos. That's what my Latanian teachers taught me, but they've all since died in silence or lunacy. If it were me, I would tell my students, music is a flowing will, a language of self-expression. I can tell your fingers are still stiff. It seems you're not yet used to learning this way. Oh, don't be nervous. I'll guide you. Oh. Quid est, Fede? Are you going to greet me with a mine or an electric fence this time? If you'd like a music lesson, the doctor and I will oblige. I'll never stop performing, even if you, doctor, are the one who asks me. Trauma is one thing, but freedom is another. My life is the same as the others. It will simply come to an end if I stop in my tracks. No matter how powerful one's spirit may be, there is no way to vanquish the inevitability of death. If there is meaning in life, if there is really something out there that can fight against chaos and nothingness, it has to be every emotion that I'm feeling right here and now, and the melodies they'll turn into. I'm watching the clouds. Water accumulates above and in excess before turning to rain. Mater made just as natural a choice when she decided to leave, but Pata still refuses to accept it, even now. What about you, Doctor? Will you also refuse to listen to the truest self that lies within you? Working with you is actually quite dull to me. Sick, because I don't want to, and can't play your music. So I've curbed my expectations of you, for I fear that when this emotion bursts in resonance along with my strings, you will turn to a grotesque collection of variegated fragments in my arms. Let me be your personal musician. Let me feel my way around your mind. How elaborate are your ideas? And how terrifying is your rising willpower? I will of course be captivated by your music when it blooms into its ultimate form, and at that moment, what I will perform for you shall be myself. Rest well. I don't need to mix any illusiones into this lullaby. Your dreams are already colorful enough. I should have introduced myself by playing some music for you. Unfortunately, I've been forbidden from doing so for the moment. Let's start with a code name then. You may call me Virtuosa. I've no interest in these means of inflicting harm. Do you mind if I wander about for a bit? You've come to understand me more and more, even without the sound of an instrument to connect us. And yet, just how am I supposed to share this joy in my heart with you? Whenever I touch the strings, the surrounding emotions all flow into me, through my fingertips, surging up into the sky and down into the ground. Did you hear it too? The cry of life in its truest form. Mira et pulcra. What audience have you picked for me today? I don't often play with accompaniment, but I can try to match the others' voices. notes fall into memory, and a melody resonates in the mind. What tones are your souls in? The concert may begin at any time. What would you like to hear? A solo to you. An improv from us. Ecstasy as bright as gold. Suffering will come to rest. Liberty and sunlight all around us. Feel your own self to your heart's content. War itself is unworthy of a performance, but I will listen to every voice on the battlefield, from hero to refugee. Over already? Your victory doesn't need to be embellished by my music. I'd much rather perform for you a piece inspired by that cloud passing overhead. Guilt, doubt, fear. This surge of emotion rising from the battlefield will follow them, accompanying them to their graves. The performance ends, and the audience scatters. After such a conclusion, how long can the strings continue to vibrate? What a beautiful sunset. It would be even more romantic if there were music swirling around the deck. These strings are vibrating for you. Have I been lurking in this corner for a long while? There's a tune lingering in my head, and I refuse to go to sleep before I can express it. Arknights. Sometimes, I too prefer to avoid the crowd, far away from all the sounds, just to feel my own self, and to feel you as well.
By the way, may I ask who was your previous assistant? No, I'm not snooping or anything. It's just, there's not much I can do for you here, besides offer my quiet thoughts on the occasional poem. I see what you're hiding behind your back. Be at ease. I know very well that Leytanian needs a citizen to heighten her glory in foreign lands. Kazimierz, on the other hand, needs a scandal-plagued knight of self-professed purity. Both are as plain as day. Besides, that issue of the red wine is outdated. Their kinds never run short of personalities to gossip over. The wind can get very strong up on the decks. Perhaps you should change into something warmer. Me? I'm just dressing this place up as a certain city of greenery and shade in my imagination. The one where the gentle breeze blew from lands unknown, and the blacksmith's rhythmic hammering sounded the passage of time. Those days were brief. So brief, they are worth remembering. Droste is my mother's maiden name. It is a common name with no place in the spires. How long would you stay in an alley full of marigolds, Doctor? Very few would grace their proses and stanzas with these forbidden blossoms, but they are really beautiful. To be honest, I'm surprised you actually remembered my full name, Doctor. Poetry is charming as a respite from grammatical convention. It is a search for the most fitting of expressions in the most irrational. The candle knight who upholds virtue, and Viviana who loves poetry. I have been a contradiction since the very beginning. Tales about foreign lands usually end with a traveler returning home. I was always preparing to return to Leytanian, but even after having experienced so much, my truest impression of the place remains in the candlelit books on those dark nights. I've seen the people I wanted to see, and I've made my choice. Look, what is it the candle lights here? Our faces? Lines of poetry that no one reads? Or the dark and mired path ahead of us? I guess you've always been able to see them, even without my candlelight. Right then, rest your eyes upon me. Don't let the light distract your gaze. I returned to that small dark chamber in the spire and spoke to the little girl within. I told her that she will endure a lifetime of slander, suffer regrets that cannot be undone, and be trapped in a cycle of endless pursuit and loss. Yes, farewells feel the same as a dream. Do you find me as I am in this moment real enough? If you and I were notes from one stanza, on which instrument are we strung? And what player has us in his hand? Oh, I knew you would come. Have you finished reading the poems I gave you? Let me guess. I couldn't possibly share the image of your beloved, and it must lie within the most uplifting cantata. Mein Tag war heiter, glücklich meine Nacht. Greetings. Margarete told me about you. It's a shame we didn't have a chance to meet in the Grand Knight territory. They called me the Candle Knight at the time. You can call me Viviana, Doctor. Watching my own fights through a screen. For a moment I thought I was still in Kazimierz. Are you going to grant me a title as well? There's no need for that, but it probably won't matter anyway. This place is no arena. Can I interpret this as your hope that I will stay? I, Viviana Droste, shall wield candle and blade to win victories in your name. Truth be told, the General Chamber of Commerce's spokesman kept complaining that I didn't care much about my own matches. Let us move. A timely departure paves the way for an early return. Moonlight barely laid upon the breezy parterre, yet you've witnessed the entirety of autumn. I listen to this passing silence. I wait for that belated serenity. This is no arena. No scars will be remembered or awarded. Leave. This is my last suggestion. Why obsess over rhymes? Poetry is woven with the thread of ideas. Blassweiße Rosen, schlichte Kleingeister. Alas, but tying your legs together won't make you fly. Let time rest upon this unlit night. Tired already, Doctor? Me too. The last time I had such an unforgettable bout was that match I fought in Kavalayaki. Doctor, you're right. Words that shake one's soul always come from within the storm. Even the most uninspiring poetry may contain a few lines that tug at our hearts. Despite the regrettable techniques employed, I can't help but approve of the writer's expression. Doctor, accept this temporary lapse in creativity and remember how this moment feels. I'm still looking forward to the completion of this sonnet. No bathtub? Never mind, just a little joke. Who's there? Whatever. I already knew it was you. Doctor, if the candle goes out, I can't say for sure what might happen next. Arknights. Doctor, what are you muttering there? I won't force you to recite any poems, but you have read them, have you not?